Rest in peace to Mr. Elroy, man. This story is extra different. I'm a patterns type person, man. I'm very detail oriented. I pay attention to things in life, and God has been bringing me some very different stories lately because I'm going to be honest about my opinion no matter what. I am Trailhand Bill reporting live from South Florida. It is very beautiful, cool and breezy in Miami tonight, guys. Sunday, 7:47. If you're new here, we watch the video, and when that is over, I give my opinion about it until I'm done. There go my neighbor who always trying to give me Coke 45s that I never drink. We're in Florida, guys. Very unusual story, if I do say so myself.
Do you have any weapons on you?
I am the weapon.
Okay. Do you have any guns on you?
I don't use
All right.
guns. I gave you everything, and this is how you treat me.
On the ground, please.
I gave you everything.
On
and this
the
is how you treat
ground.
me. I gave you everything.
This incident took place on October 23rd, 2024 in Charlotte County, Florida. Around noon, 42-year-old Elroy, an African-American homeowner, called the police about a tenant he described as acting strangely and causing damage to his property. He requested that the officers help him remove the man from his home. 2 officers responded to Elroy's call and arrived at his home, a sprawling mansion worth $1.6 million, set on nearly 40,000 square feet. Elroy himself came out to greet them, but from the start, something about him seemed a bit off.
What happened
The
today?
peace must be maintained.
Right.
You feel the peace? You feel it?
What happened today, sir?
It needs to be maintained.
It's pretty peaceful
He
right
came
now.
into my home, and I told him he can't come in without permission.
Okay.
So he violated my space, my boundaries.
Okay.
Then came and slammed my door. So he
Right.
destroyed. Yes, that's destruction of property.
Where is he currently?
He's currently in my area that I allowed him to stay in
How long has he been staying here?
for a few months now.
Okay.
Is that him right
Yes, and he needs to be evaluated or looked at or whatever you got to do.
Okay.
there? Do you have any weapons on you?
He has no weapons on him. He has no weapons.
Do you have any weapons on you?
I am the weapon.
Okay. Do you have any guns on you?
I don't use
All right.
guns.
He asked the officers if they felt the peace and told them he didn't need a gun because he was the weapon. And as it turned out, he wasn't entirely wrong. Standing 6 and weighing over 300 pounds, Elroy was practically a tank on 2 legs. After speaking with Elroy, the officers checked with the tenant and nearby neighbors, and during their inquiries, they discovered an unexpected twist. Elroy had an active arrest warrant.
Take off your glasses.
What is your name?
It's okay.
What's your name?
Take off. I told you, it's Ben Day.
It's not Ben Day. I got your picture pulled up, man.
That is
You're
not me.
Elroy.
That is
Okay.
not me.
Okay,
How are
well-
you going to tell me who I am?
Because I got proof. I got your picture.
That's proof?
I
That's
have your
bullshit.
ID. I have your
That's
ID.
bullshit. You got bullshit in your hands. In
Bro,
your car.
Calm down.
You're on my land. You're telling me to calm down?
You got a warrant for your arrest.
I've been here peacefully making things happen in my world.
When the officers returned to question him, Elroy insisted he wasn't the person named on the warrant. Once he realized he was about to be arrested, his earlier calm quickly faded. The officers, aware of his size, took things slowly and called for backup while they attempted to calm him down. Elroy, however, wasn't budging and continued to deny he was the person on the warrant. When the escalation failed, the first officer tried using a taser, but instead of subduing Elroy, it only seemed to anger him. A second officer tried again. But even with thousands of volts, Elroy barely flinched. He brushed it off and even taunted the officers, challenging them further. Being in a remote area, backup arrived about 10 minutes later. The new officer wasted no time and immediately fired another taser shot. This finally started to weaken Elroy, giving the officers a chance to take him down. But even with 3 officers, Elroy broke free and stood back up, initiating a standoff that lasted several more minutes. One of the officers decided to up the stakes and brought out a beanbag gun, a non-lethal weapon similar in force to a heavyweight boxer's punch. 3 shots later, Elroy responded with a laugh, claiming it felt like a tickle. Then, in a burst of strength, he charged at the officer who had fired, forcing the officer to draw his gun and fire in self-defense. Although the shots brought Elroy down, the officer was visibly shaken and began to cry, overwhelmed by the intensity of the situation and possibly guilt. His fellow officers rushed over to console him, helping him regain his composure.
Come on. It's okay, look at me. It's okay. It's okay.
He was coming right at me.
I got you.
You're good. You're good.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that.
Later, it was revealed that Elroy's warrant was for a misdemeanor trespassing charge, one that could have been cleared up with a simple $500 bail if he'd attended court. Tragically, that missed court date ultimately led to this deadly encounter in his own home. The tenant Jason was arrested afterward for obstruction and a felony failure to appear. The two officers who fired their weapons were placed on administrative leave pending investigation, as they had discharged a total of 14 rounds. Since Elroy was unarmed, the case has sparked heated debate. Many argue that lethal force shouldn't be used against unarmed suspects, suggesting that the officers should have retreated to wait for additional backup. Others, however, feel the officers had exhausted all non-lethal options and faced a real threat given Elroy's strength and size. So, what are your thoughts on this case? Share your perspective in the comments below.
Ain't no way in hell I don't remember everything I want to say. Housekeeping first, I guess, right? My neighbor distracted me, Colt 45 shorty, man, so I forgot to continue letting the new viewers know, man, that way I can let you know now the video is over. That will be nothing but my opinion from this point forward. For the returning viewers, man, shout out to you. Appreciate you, man. There will probably be no weekly wrap-up. I'm almost sure I'm not doing no other videos tonight, especially 3. This was substituted. In the last video I did about the 71-year-old Asian man that was attacked in Oklahoma City, some people were, just in case, I know some where you mentioned in the comments why I was confused about why they were making a big deal about that situation. You will have to go to the video to get my extended opinion, because I'm not pacifying anybody doing that again. But somebody said in the comments of that video, this happens all too often. And that right there culminates why I was like, why is this rising to this much noise level? Because this happens all of the time and we see nothing. We see no noise about it. So, I mean, even to elderly people, cops attacking them. So why was that such a thing? And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be. I'm saying that every occasion should be. So what made this one stand out? I think it's a valid question with no disrespect to anyone else. Anything else that I forgot to say, hopefully I'll remember. And if I don't, hell, maybe not. That's crazy as hell, man. Elroy, I forgot how old they said he was. For some reason, 32 is bouncing around in my head, but don't quote me on that. The reason I chose to use this, man, I don't even want to go through that in this video. Maybe that's for another time, but in looking for a story that I wanted to cover, which is why I'm doing this instead of, the weekly wrap-up. The regular viewers know what that is, but I tell you guys all the time, I follow my heart. So, bam, I'm looking for stories and I find this, and it's on this gentleman's channel. Now, I'm not knowing, when I click on it, I don't know anything about the story. Rest in peace to Mr. Elroy again. I don't know anything about the channel. I suggest you go follow this guy. You know what I mean? At least go give him a like or thumbs up or something on one of his videos, man. He did this work. And I think he I think he did a hell of a job. So shout out to you, 911 Unloaded. I really do. That's my true opinion. Praise God. The other thing is that I would have just followed it to a more known, more accomplished, I would say, and I mean that with no disrespect to 911 Unloaded. I'm just saying people who already have built an audience and probably have machines behind them, whether big or small. I would have just, you watch my videos, they're just news coverages, right? From media platforms that are already established. So I'm like, nah, man, get this man a shout out, because I think he did a better job than many of the best that I've seen. He's up there. So we can give him a shout out and get the same story without going to somebody that has a machine and already established platform behind them. And I think he only has like 200 subscribers. And with the work he's done in just this video, I think I may have watched another one or saved it to watch later. I can't remember. I think this guy at least deserves a second watch. So men and women like him, like I say, y'all know how I feel about that. These voices need to be out there. What he didn't mention, and this, I'm not like, this is no shot at him. Like, how many times do I say in my videos? There's no way I'm gonna remember everything I wanted to say. That print article mentioned was they shot this man 14 times. Right now, if somebody's lying about that, it's the journalist. It's not me. Check the pinned comment and or the description. I usually leave those print articles there. You can follow them yourself and see that Trailhead Bill don't tell no lies. They might say we're in the wrong city or state sometime, but I don't lie. If I misspeak, I come back and clear it up. So they shot this gentleman 14 times. They said he is an accomplished man and a father. Many of his neighbors were absolutely confused because they didn't know the man that the cops were describing or the man that would be shot 14 times and murdered by officers. They didn't know the aggressive man that the cops were describing, the uncooperative man that the cops were describing. And sometimes we're wondering whether he's delusional, maybe intoxicated, or having a mental complication, man, that I can't even anymore say the cops are describing because we just watched the video. So I would say if you read the print article and if you check out some of the other media platforms coverage of it, obviously you will get more information, different perspectives, follow-up information, etc., etc. And I guess now we can deal with what's at hand. Oh, one more tidbit. They mentioned that, well, this gentleman, 911 Unloaded, mentioned that the other gentleman was arrested for something and felony something. And I'm not going to say he's lying. The article, I wish I remember what it was, mentioned that he was arrested for something crazy as hell. Like, it wasn't even a charge. I can't even remember it. And I wish I did because it stuck out to me so much. It's like they just made something up to arrest that man for, which to me is why it's important that he did mention other things. So that's something you could research because I'm still not clear about that. I don't know, man. When I first watched this video and Mr. Elroy is talking about, do you feel the peace, and, you know, his whole demeanor and body language, I'm thinking, buddy, is you tripping or something? And I want to, you know, highlight the fact that I understand and realize I'm talking about a now deceased person, someone's family members, children's dad, and et cetera, a human being, if nothing else, right? I'm very cognizant of that. I'm conscious of that, right? So I'm wondering, man, and it was very beautiful. It was very beautiful. If you follow me, I'm always taking pictures of Florida views. And so I could see that in the background. It was like, damn, that's a hell of a day for all of that to transpire. Because if you're looking, and you can see it right now, literally on the screen, look how beautiful that sky is. But he's saying, do you feel the peace? Hey, we must maintain the peace, or I'm here to maintain the peace or whatever. And at first I'm thinking, yeah, bro, is your ass high or something? What the fuck you got going on, big dog? And the other things he said during the video. But then when I watched it back, I'm looking like, nah, hold on, I take it back. He might not be high, because literally, like I just told y'all, I be in South Florida doing the same damn thing, just absorbing the, that's what I'm out here doing tonight. I do it damn near every Sunday when I make these videos. It's really the only time I make them at home. So I get it, and I'm like, hold on, he might not be crazy. He might just be standing on business. And then I listened to some other things he said that I can't remember right now that seemed crazy at first, but then I'm like, nah. He's like, yo, this is I live, you on my property. What the fuck? There's a lot of things he said that seem, it could go in a crazy or intoxicated boat, but it could also just be a bold man standing on business. And I can speak from that vantage point because I'm not trying to be arrogant when I tell you guys, I'm a bold man who stands on business. So the things that I know, I stand on them boldly. And a lot of things, like the tranquility of God's creation, that's what he was standing on. I stand on that boldly. What belongs to me, what has been given to me by God, I stand on that boldly. So some of those things he was saying that sounded, questionable at first, began to, on second watch, like, nah, I mean, and I totally get being misunderstood by motherfuckers who think more like everybody else than independently, or whatever the difference in our train of thought is. I totally get me and my presence and my conversation and communication being misunderstood by them. I be saying one thing, they hear something totally different. So all of that just gave me a different vantage point. Until them folks start asking you who you were, fam. And you were telling them, even in the print article, they say that the guy, referred to himself as one thing, and one of you referred to yourselves, I think, as emperor, and the other one referred to yourselves as king. But then they started asking you who you were, and I can't even make out what you were telling them. But I think you were adamantly, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was adamantly saying that he isn't the guy, he isn't who he is. Like, they were calling his name, and he was saying, no, that's not me. I'm trying, Bill, big dog. I got a lot of humanity in my whole soul, mind, body, everything. So I ain't here to condemn or look down or talk condescendingly toward no one. But then I had to question all that shit that I thought was just you standing on business as a bold man, big dog. Because it didn't look like you were trying to deceive them. And when we take into consideration what they were talking about, a damn trespassing charge that amounted to $500, I can tell you guys about a sound ordinance violation I got that had got my ass took to the bookings one time in Georgia. And I'm like, y'all gonna charge me something because they kept me down there for about 2 hours. And I'm like, y'all gotta charge me. And they literally just charged me what the damn ticket was $100. So I was so upset. I was like, charge me more to make it worth all of it. But I'm saying I could totally relate to that. And so that charge isn't a reason for him to be standing there lying about his identity, which could easily be verified. And also, he didn't seem to be lying. So once again, now I'm going back to the comments you were making, and I'm wondering, are we having a mental health crisis? Maybe is he, and I don't mean to be disparaging toward the deceased one or the living loved ones, but is he maybe under the influence of something? I don't know what's going on here, but I was trying to give you all the benefit of the doubt I could, and then it just went. And then the confrontation, the physical altercation began to happen, and I really don't see where you displayed any amount of rage, and I can't put too much stock in that because people react differently in life, but I would have at some point been looking for some type of rage or anger at the way they were treating you. You were kind of calm when you said to them, I've done something, giving you all that, and this is how you treat me. And even when you got up off the ground, it was kind of like, once again, I'm not trying to be disparaging, you guys. I just give my honest opinion, knowing I could be wrong, unless we're talking about Jesus being God. I said it. It was like you watching one of those video games or anime shows or something where the hero gets up and the villain gets up and they just spark and all kind of power comes from them. That was just not a lot of, in my estimation, I'm observing that situation, what we see on camera. I don't see a lot of panic. I don't see a lot of urgency. I don't see you cognizantly recognizing what's going on. And once again, that's just my faulty interpretation. I'm thinking, man, maybe it was drugs or mental health. I don't know, guys, because I don't know this gentleman. But once again, if you read the print articles, everybody who knows this guy, I'm talking about, and this isn't like, and people do this. Oh, this is my son, this is my husband, I'm going to speak. But no, these were people, random people in the neighborhood and neighbors and stuff. They was like, nah, man, what the fuck is this? Because this ain't that. So but it's on camera, we can see it. So it's all very puzzling. And then the officer's actions, what the hell do you want me to say about that? There's so much I could say and so much I didn't say about him because I learned everything I think don't got to be expressed. But I'm so confused about the officer's actions, and it's like, at what point how do we engage this guy? One thing I can agree with those who commented on it is like, one side of the comments is, no, man, you got to go into all these damn situations with non-lethal in mind. Motherfucker, don't you know how to run? Don't y'all know how to get back in y'all car or something? Don't you know how to call a superior to the scene, one of your commanding officers, and say, hey, how do we come up with something here? Because this motherfucker done lost his damn mind and he about to barrel everything, or he about to tackle the cars. So how do we come up with something to get, because we got it. They spoke to a law enforcement expert. I hate when they bring these motherfuckers in, and he was telling us all the ways that the cops were right. And they were like, well, why didn't they just tell them, go back in the house or whatever? Someone asked this. I think one of the journalists, so shout out to them. Why didn't they just tell him to go back in the house and appear at court for his hearing, or go down there and pay the fine or something? And the law enforcement expert, which is why I hate when they bring them in, because they always going to find a way to agree with the police, he said something along the lines of, once they say that you're under arrest, they have to execute. I'm not saying that that's not true and on the books, but that's just another reason why I tell y'all in my video, man, I'm not obeying all of that shit they got on the books, because just because they declare it lawful don't mean it make no damn sense, and don't mean it's civil or humane. So they have officers' discretion. So maybe that's true in Florida, and maybe it's a nationwide thing, a federal thing, but it's going to be very hard for me to believe that these officers can't say, hey, man, well, just go down there and take care of it. So that was the question, and that was the explanation given there. But that's some of the things that are going through my mind when I'm like, how could they have handled this differently? Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, it just points to something I said in all these other videos where these cops will reach gun first and shoot and kill, and they do it. Man, come on, family. Man, y'all be this ain't no damn videos to me, man. They reach for guns and shoot first, and they even do it to helpless, innocent, defenseless, vulnerable children, man. But in this video, when you got a grown-ass, Hulk Hogan-ass gorilla, Incredible Hulk, not Hulk Hogan time 5, Incredible Hulk-ass gorilla, we watch these grown-ass men. I'm going to tell you one more reason, praise God, I didn't forget why I'm glad I used this footage. We watch these grown-ass men use every resource available, it seems to me, to try to keep from killing this man. Correct me if I'm wrong. It just tells me. Yeah, my bad. I got ahead of myself right there, because I definitely wanted to make the point that if we could watch these officers, multiple officers, use multiple versions of less lethal force against a real gorilla, and all these other instances when officers go gun first, it's not because they have to and they don't have other options. It's because that's who they are, who they're trained to be, and who they're allowed to be. And pissing me the hell off. It just tells me it were multiple officers there doing that. So either all of them had that mindset, or one of them said, yo, this is what we doing. He took control of the situation like you should have, and said, we got to try to keep this human alive. He ain't did nothing to kill him. Either way, that's how it played out till whatever. And even then, we could see on the video, correct me if I'm wrong, or at least they reported it, that he had one of the officers on the ground. But I'm rewinding, like, what? That was, y'all couldn't all the way retreat and then just come up with something? Because I get it. Once he whooping y'all ass, you in panic mode. Whether you just a terrorist ass killer cop or whether you somebody trying to survive, you are in panic mode. A lot of motherfuckers can watch this video and say cop, civilian, whatever, what you would have done in that situation. But I'm telling you, when somebody on your ass and everything happening like that, you are in survival mode, man. And what happens next is just what happens next. That's why I always say it's going to be what it's going to be. When I'm out there policing them police, that shit don't be scripted. This is survival mode. I'm here for a reason. And I'm not going to let y'all just, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to, in these videos, when I say God is giving me some very different videos, it's making me be objective where I can't just be like these motherfuckers out here terrorizing. How can I say that these cops were out there terrorizing? Now, I don't know about the ones that jumped out of the car, according to his reports, gung-ho. I don't know. But what we seen, man, them folk went out their way not to do nothing deadly to that man. And it got, even when he was on there, they tried to get on his ass. I seen the cop rush him. At first, I questioned that. But I could see why when he said get on the ground and you don't. I want your big ass on the ground too if I got to secure you, you know what I mean? And arrest you. Right, look at you see what happened when you ain't. So they trying to secure the scene, and whether they had a reason to or not, of course, that could be debated in hindsight. Right that way, y'all know it's a $500 ticket. I really think y'all went too far with the arrest. I really think y'all were just trying to press the issue, and I would love to know why. So that would be my sticking point of domestic terrorist intention. Right there. Why in the hell did that lead to arrest? But I guess if he got a warrant, that's why it was arrest. I'm sorry, because there was a warrant. So I guess that's the answer to that question. I still see officer discretion, but y'all not, I guess, maybe thinking it's going to go that far, because once it began to escalate, it looks like to me it cannot be argued that these cops did everything they could to subdue this man without deadly force. So I don't really know what to say here, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what made Elroy behave that way. I don't know what made, the man told us he living in luxury. Why he wouldn't just relax and go pay the $500. I don't know what was going through his mind, family. And out of respect for him, I'm not going to say everything I should say, but I would suggest to anybody when you're in that type of situation, man, you yourself measure it. And I'm always telling you to measure who these cops are. But measure it, man, and make sure that you're not going further than you want to go, and you're not going to go further than you're going to be able to come back from once everything is said and done. They have this full body cam. I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of different videos about this situation online. The last reason I'm glad I used this gentleman's footage is because he showed us a real-time reaction. And I'm sure the other body cam footage shows this too. That's why I mentioned it. He got it from there and narrated it. But I'm glad I used this because he chose to use that while I've watched other videos and they didn't use this body cam footage that he used. So I'm glad he showed the officer's response. I'm really glad he showed the officer's raw response after that happened. And I may explain why in another video, man. Rest in peace to Mr. Elroy, man. That is a very, very tragic and unfortunate ass situation. I'm not even here to suggest there should be a right and wrong in this situation, but you are free to. You know how I give it up over here, man. I speak my mind, and I suggest you do too. It is not imperative that we always agree. It's more imperative that we be respectful of each other and understand that that won't always be the case. I mean the agreeing, not the respect, because that can be. Know your rights. Teach your babies their rights, man. Teach them to know their rights, man. Enjoy this beautiful time and place God has given us. This is just not something I say in the video, because I say it all the time. No, that comes after the boom. If you like it, subscribe and all that bullshit. I say this because it's very important for me to say. I think it's very important for me to remind myself and for you guys to know. There are very present dangers in our world, and some of them where law enforcement paraphernalia and memorabilia and work in that segment of employment, and them motherfuckers murder, kill, destroy, and do everything that people should not do to other people, man. That's why you need to know who they are. That's why you need to protect yourself in every regard, anywhere they are. And anyone that you love should be armed to do the damn same thing. I'm trying, Bill. Y'all be good, man.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that.
A lot of things come to my mind here and that. Let me keep them to myself, though. Y'all keep Elroy children in your prayers if you pray. Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.